So things like that happen. I mean, it's you could argue that it was, maybe a poor schedule, and maybe they could schedule him on a bigger court. Yes, but again, she's Alex Eala. That's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big interest.
The Novak Djokovic has finally broken his silence on the Alex Eala situation at the Australian Open. And let me tell you, he did not hold back. Alex Eala, the incredible Filipino tennis sensation and the pride of the Philippines, was knocked out in the first round of the Australian Open. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just about her performance. According to Djokovic and many others who've been paying attention, the WTA's management of her fixture played a huge role in her elimination. And Novak? He's calling them out on it. Big time. Alex Eala entered the Australian Open with high expectations. She's not just any player, she's literally the best tennis player to ever come out of the Philippines. That's not hyperbole, that's fact. This young woman has been breaking barriers, making history, and putting Filipino tennis on the global map. She deserves respect. She deserves proper treatment. She deserves to be given the same opportunities as any other player at her level. But what did she get instead? A smaller court. That's right. Despite her talent, despite her achievements, despite everything she's accomplished, the WTA assigned Alex Eala to play on a smaller court when she absolutely could have and should have been playing on a larger, more prestigious court. And Novak Djokovic noticed. He didn't just notice, he spoke up about it, and he made it crystal clear that this was poor management from the WTA. In Djokovic's words, Alex Eala is the greatest tennis player the Philippines has ever produced, and she deserves all the respect in the world. But the WTA? They're not giving her that respect. They're not treating her fairly. And unfortunately, this lack of proper management might have contributed to her first-round exit. Now, some people might say, come on, it's just a court assignment. How much difference does it really make? Well, let me tell you, it makes a massive difference. The size of the court, the atmosphere, the energy from the crowd, the lighting, the surface conditions. All of these factors play into a player's performance, especially in high-pressure situations like a Grand Slam tournament. But here's what makes this situation even more disturbing. This isn't an isolated incident. This is part of a pattern of questionable treatment that Alex Eala has been experiencing throughout her time in the WTA. And if you've been following her journey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me take you back to one particularly egregious example. During the Australian Open qualifiers, something absolutely shocking happened. Eala was in the middle of a critical rally in the first set. She hit a ball that was clearly in. I'm talking crystal clear, folks. Everyone in the stadium could see it. The mark on the court was visible. The trajectory was perfect. By every objective measure, it was her point. But then came the call. Out!
Alex a little bit annoyed now. That's the second time that has happened with that same linesman.
Now that's bad enough on its own. But here's where it gets even worse. Instead of simply awarding the point to her opponent, which would have been the wrong call, but at least it would have been a decision, the officials decided to replay the point entirely. If you know anything about tennis, you know that's not standard procedure. You don't just get to replay points because you're unsure about a call. Either the ball is in or it's out. Period. You make a decision and you stick with it. But apparently, when it comes to Alex Eala, the normal rules don't seem to apply. And here's what I love about Alex Eala. She didn't just accept it. She walked right up to that chair umpire, calm but absolutely firm, and she said, "I know what you're doing." The confidence in her voice, the determination in her eyes. She wasn't going to be intimidated. She wasn't going to let them push her around. She knew exactly what was happening, and she called them out on it right there on the court. And you know what? Despite all of that nonsense, despite the questionable calls and the attempts to throw her off her game, Eala won that match. She pushed through, she stayed focused, and she made it all the way to the finals of the Australian Open qualifiers. That is the kind of mental toughness and resilience we're talking about here. But wait, it gets even more troubling. Let me tell you about what happened during her match against Iga Świątek. Now, if you don't follow tennis closely, let me give you some context. Iga Świątek is one of the top players in the world. We're talking about a multiple Grand Slam champion, a former world #1, an absolute powerhouse on the court. For a young player like Eala to even be competitive against someone of that caliber is already an incredible achievement in itself. And guess what? Eala wasn't just competitive, she was playing brilliantly. She was matching Świątek shot for shot, holding her own against one of the best players in the game. The momentum was building. She was threatening to pull off what would have been one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. And then, out of nowhere, a referee decided to confront her about items in her backpack. Yes, you heard that right. In the middle of a crucial match, during a moment when Eala was building serious momentum and confidence, an official decided to make a scene about her backpack. But here's the really disturbing part. They didn't just quietly address it. They made the announcement loud enough for the entire audience to hear. They tried to portray her as some kind of rule breaker, attempting to humiliate her in front of thousands of spectators in the stadium and millions watching at home around the world.
It's confirmed you cannot use it.
Think about what that does to a player psychologically. You're in the zone, you're competing at the highest level against one of the best players on the planet, and suddenly you're being publicly called out and embarrassed over something trivial. It's a clear attempt to rattle her, to throw her off her game, to make her doubt herself at the exact moment when she needed her confidence the most. This kind of psychological warfare has absolutely no place in professional sports. None. And this is exactly why Novak Djokovic's statement is so important. Djokovic isn't just some random commentator. He's one of the greatest tennis players of all time. He's won 24 Grand Slam titles. He's been at the top of the sport for nearly 2 decades. He knows what it's like to compete at the highest level, and he knows what fair treatment looks like versus what bias and poor management look like. When someone with Djokovic's credentials and experience speaks up about an issue like this, people listen. And they should listen, because what he's saying makes absolute sense. Eala deserves better. She deserves fair treatment. She deserves to be given the same opportunities and respect as every other player on the tour. The WTA needs to take a long, hard look at how they're managing situations like this. Court assignments shouldn't be arbitrary. Officiating should be consistent and fair. And young, talented players from smaller tennis nations like the Philippines shouldn't have to fight against bias and poor management on top of fighting their opponents on the court. So, what do you think about all of this? Do you agree with Novak Djokovic that the WTA has been mismanaging Eala's treatment? Have you noticed this pattern of questionable calls and decisions affecting her matches? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. And let's show some support for Eala. This young woman has overcome so much already, and she's going to continue to rise despite these obstacles. She's got the talent, she's got the mental toughness, and now she's got voices like Novak Djokovic speaking up on her behalf. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more tennis content and coverage of important issues like this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your fellow tennis fans, and let's spread awareness about what's really happening in the sport we all love. Until next time, keep fighting for fairness in tennis, and I'll see you in the next video.